Well, hi there. So in this video, we're going to do an abbreviated a bit of extra practice because our inequality extra practice actually is a you go do some researching on your own. And so the part we're actually going to deal with here is just the multiple choice section. So let's get started. Okay, so as I said, this portion of the extra practice, we'd ask for you to go to the BLS website, do a little bit of looking, and go to some interesting websites and check out the income comparator. All of these things are on your own. There's not really, I mean, there obviously are right answers, but I think it's more valuable for you to play around with some of the data, and especially check out that income comparator. It really helps you understand kind of where are the percentiles of income in the United States, and then kind of some historical comparisons here over time, which I think was kind of interesting. So let's take a look at these multiple choice questions, though. You might see a few questions multiple choice in terms of the AP micro exam and the final exam in this class. So it's a good idea to kind of get a handle on it. This is 5.3, not 5.1. Number one, it says all the following are sources of inequality in the distribution of personal income except. So progressive income taxes can do it, although usually they reduce the income inequality. So I'm going to kind of tag that one and say it's probably got that. B, discrimination, yes. Differences in motivation, yes, that affects productivity. Differences in educational skill level, that affects productivity. Differences in abilities also affects productivity. So these four are all sources of it. A is actually something pushing back against it. So we would say A is the correct answer here. Two, a Lorenz curve can be used by economists to basically show the distribution of income. So show the distribution. Oh, there it is. A. It's the distribution, not the amount. That's what's wrong with that one. The amount of consumption, it doesn't do consumption. Different households have different, it doesn't explain it, nor does it explain why it's equally distributed in socialism. That's also not true. It doesn't do that. So number three, the Lorenz curves in the graph show the effects of a tax system on income inequality. You have a before tax where it's pretty unequal and an after tax where it's much more equal. Which of the following must be true? Before the blah, 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 poverty level, it doesn't tell me anything about that. So I'm going to rule out that one. Redistributed income from this to this, that didn't tell me that. Proportional, regressive, progressive. So this is really where the meat of this question is, or the soy of this question is, the tofu. This tax is progressive. And I know that because before the taxes, it's pretty unequal distribution. And after the taxes, it's much more equal. That means that the high income folks were taxed more heavily than the low income folks. And so after the tax, you have a much more compressed amount of inequality. Let's take a look at four. In a perfectly competitive free market economy, a wage gap between two workers can be explained by differences in all the following except. So we got a few things that could affect it. Years of schooling would, yes. Occupations would. Marginal product for sure. Marginal revenue product. Tastes for luxury goods. That's going to be it. That has nothing to do with why you earn what you do. Five, a Lorenz curve could be used to evaluate which of the following economic issues. This is going to be about something about income distribution, allocative and no, we don't do anything about that. Nothing about efficiency, comparative advantage, nothing about terms of trade, degree of specialization and growth. That's cool. No. Degree of equity in income distribution. Equity means fairness and the equilibrium of market prices and quantities throughout the world. No, I would not actually say that I like this answer. This is from the AP folks. It doesn't really help. I mean, I guess it says it could be used to evaluate the fairness of income distribution in the sense that it allows you to know what the income distribution is. So I'm going to go with D. It's the best answer, although I don't really like it. Number six, the society that wishes to achieve greater income equality is most likely to have which of the following. So if you want to distribute your income more equally, you're going to want a more progressive income tax system. So a more regressive, no. Progressive income tax. So now we're on the right track. Progressive income tax. I'm going to rule out E because it's proportional. Then we've got high estate and gift and low estate and gift. Estate means inheritance, right? So that's what that word means. Inheritance. And so if we said we had really high inheritance and gift taxes, it would mean that I can't transfer my wealth from one generation to the next. And so that would actually lead to greater income equality, C. Low estate and gift taxes would be the other way around, right? It's very easy for me to transfer my wealth from one generation to the next. In the United States, the federal government redistributes income primarily by, we do it through progressive income tax. So let's see, setting up planning commissions to a set wage rate. That's cool. No, we don't do that. Taxing different incomes at different rates. We do that. B, that's a progressive income tax. The rest of these are not actually true. We don't guarantee a minimum income in the way of a minimum wage law. That's not really what a minimum wage law does. It doesn't ensure that everybody has a minimum income. Providing the use of the same goods and services, we don't do that. That's not retraining and relocating structurally unemployed people. That would probably be a cool idea, but we don't do that. Number 8, in a given year, Jennifer, I don't know why I read that. Oh, Steve is right there. Earns 50, spends 40. Same period, Steve earns 30, spends 27. So just out of the ballpark of this, right? She's spending 80%, he's spending 90%. I'm just kind of observing that relationship. If they both pay a 10% sales tax, then the sales tax is what? And so you kind of think about it this way, that 10% of this 2,700 is 2,700. So Steve pays 2,700 out of his 30K, right? Out of his 30K. And Jennifer, she pays 4,000 out of her 50K, right? And so what it's saying here is which one of these, right, the sales tax is hitting one more. A higher percentage of income for Jennifer than for Steve? No, 4 out of 50 is actually less than 2,700 out of 30. Higher percentage of spending for Steve than for Jennifer. That is true. Progressive with respect to income, regressive with respect to income, proportional with respect. So let's just get a calculator out, right? This is one of these things that I'm going to double check before I actually tell the wrong answer in a video. We have 2,700 divided by 30,000. That's 0.09 or 9%. And then we would say 4,000 out of 50,000 is 8%. And so we can actually say here, if they both have to pay a 10% sales tax on the goods purchased, the sales tax is a higher percentage of not spending for Stephen, and it's definitely not a higher percentage of income for Jennifer because it's 8% of her income. It's regressive with respect to income, and that basically is because Stephen's paying 9%, she's paying only 8%, right? And so that's how we would say that a sales tax is typically regressive, is because low-income folks are spending more of their income, and so they're more subject to the sales tax. Number 9, country A has Gini coefficient of 0.5, B has 0.3, which is true, so A is more unequal than B is what these two numbers mean. A has higher average income. That we don't know that. We don't know what average income looks like. Income is more evenly distributed in A than in B, more in B than in A. This is true, D. This really is just allowing us to make quick comparisons between income distribution. It doesn't tell us anything about dead weight loss. So hopefully this helped you thinking through some of the multiple choice questions you're likely to see with inequality. I'll see you next time.